The arrival of the unknown. The vastness of space shimmered with a strange, brilliant light as a colossal alien vessel tore into the solar system. It was unlike anything humanity had ever seen, an enormous black ship, stretching more than 15 kilometers long, with jagged otherworldly designs carved into its metallic surface. Smaller ships darted around it like schools of fish protecting a predator. The ominous arrival sent shockwaves through Earth's defense network. On the blue planet below, the United Earth Command, UEC, scrambled into action. From the newly constructed Earth Defense Command Center in New Zealand, General Samantha Carter monitored the unfolding situation. Her sharp green eyes fixated on the screens displaying live footage of the alien fleet. Though she was in her early 60s, her authoritative presence filled the room. "Status report," she barked, her voice cutting through the murmurs of the control room. Lieutenant Raj Patel, a young officer with a reputation for precision, replied, "General, we're detecting energy levels off the charts. Their flagship has enough power to run Earth's entire infrastructure for a decade. No recognizable weaponry yet, but we can't take any chances." General Carter's jaw tightened. "Deploy the orbital defense grid. I want every satellite armed and ready. And inform the United Nations Council. They need to be prepared for a diplomatic summit. If it comes to that." Humanity had been preparing for this day ever since the discovery of alien signals 15 years ago. The world had united under a single banner, pooling resources and knowledge to ensure Earth wouldn't be defenseless if the day ever came. Now, that day had arrived. The first message. 3 hours after the alien fleet's arrival, their first communication came through. The control room went silent as the audio crackled to life. A calm, mechanical voice, speaking flawless English, echoed throughout the room. "People of Earth, we are the Consortium of Eridani. Our purpose is to offer you an invitation, a chance to join the greater galactic community. Surrender your planet's governance, and we will ensure your survival as part of our collective. Resistance will only bring destruction. You have 24 hours to respond." General Carter's fingers dug into the edge of the console. The silence in the room felt like a heavy weight pressing on everyone's shoulders. After a long pause, she straightened and spoke firmly. "Activate all intelligence divisions. I want everything we can find on this Consortium of Eridani. Satellites, deep space scanners, listening posts. Use it all. And someone contact Professor Alan Greaves at the Exoplanetary Institute. If anyone can figure out what we're dealing with, it's him. A hidden agenda. Far beneath the Atlantic Ocean, in the UEC's classified research facility, Professor Greaves pored over intercepted alien transmissions. His long graying hair fell in loose strands as he worked, his fingers flying across holographic keyboards. The consortium's broadcasts hinted at their true intentions. Earth wasn't being invited into a peaceful galactic alliance. No, this was an ultimatum, a veiled threat. "General Carter," Greaves called over the encrypted channel, his voice urgent. "The consortium has done this before. They've enslaved civilizations across the galaxy, stripping their resources and erasing their histories. They masquerade as saviors, but they're nothing more than conquerors. How do we know this isn't just fear-mongering on their part?" Carter asked, her voice steady but laced with concern. Greaves sighed. "We found encrypted data hidden in their signal. It references over 120 worlds they've already subjugated. And here's the kicker. They've been monitoring us for decades. This isn't a spontaneous visit. It's a calculated invasion." Earth's response. In the next emergency session of the United Nations Council, representatives from every nation debated fiercely. Some argued for surrender, fearing the consequences of defiance. Others, like Ambassador Elena Rodriguez of Mexico, stood firmly against submission. "We've fought wars for freedom," Rodriguez declared, her voice resolute. "We've endured hardships, sacrifices, and struggles to build what we have. Are we really going to throw that away without a fight?" General Carter presented her findings. Our defense platforms and stealth weaponry were built for this very scenario. We don't need to destroy their fleet. We only need to show them that Earth is not an easy target. The decision was unanimous. Humanity would not surrender. Carter herself drafted the response. To the Consortium of Eridani, Earth respectfully declined your invitation. We claim sovereignty over our world and its resources. Any act of aggression will be met with resistance. The first strike. When the Consortium received Earth's message, they wasted no time. Smaller ships detached from the fleet, moving towards Earth like predatory birds. General Carter gave the order, and Earth's hidden orbital defenses sprang to life. Satellite platforms, disguised as communication hubs, fired powerful particle beams, disrupting the enemy ships' formations. But the Consortium was ready. Their ships adapted quickly, deploying energy shields that absorbed most of the attacks. Earth's forces responded in kind, utilizing guerrilla tactics. For every satellite destroyed, 3 more moved into new positions, delivering precise strikes against the invaders. On the ground, civilian panic spread as news of the attack dominated every broadcast. But as the battle raged on, something remarkable happened. Across the globe, people rallied. Factories accelerated production of defense systems. Scientists worked around the clock, analyzing enemy technology. Humanity's indomitable spirit refused to waver. A shocking discovery. Meanwhile, aboard one of the captured Consortium ships, Dr. Emily John, a leading xenotechnologist, made a startling discovery. The Consortium's ships operated on a centralized AI system, which controlled every vessel in the fleet. Disrupting this AI could disable the entire fleet. We have a chance, Dr. John told General Carter in a secure briefing. If we can create a cyber weapon capable of infiltrating their AI network, we might turn the tide. Carter nodded. Do it. Use every resource you need. But keep this under wraps. If the Consortium finds out, they'll adapt. The countdown begins. As the 24-hour deadline approached, Earth braced itself for the Consortium's next move. The alien flagship began charging a massive weapon, its energy signature visible even from Earth's surface. It was a grim reminder of the stakes. In the final hours before the next confrontation, General Carter addressed the world. Her message was broadcast to every screen and device. Humanity has faced extinction before, but we've always risen above it. Today, we stand united, not as nations, but as a species. We will show the Consortium what it means to be human. We will show them our resilience, our ingenuity, and our strength. We will not be conquered. As the clock ticked down, the people of Earth prepared for the fight of their lives, united under one banner: survival. The battle for Earth's freedom had only just begun. The storm breaks. The 24-hour deadline came and went, and with it, the fragile silence of Earth's skies shattered. The Consortium's flagship emitted a blinding surge of light, signaling the arrival of their first assault wave. Smaller warships peeled off from the main fleet, their sleek forms cutting through space like daggers aimed at Earth's heart. In Earth's Defense Command, General Samantha Carter stood on the observation deck, watching the approaching threat through towering glass windows. The main screen displayed a live feed of the alien ships, their hulls glowing ominously with unrecognizable energy. The time for preparation had ended. The time to fight had arrived. All stations, report. Carter's voice carried a steely resolve, cutting through the tension in the control room. Lieutenant Raj Patel's voice came from the tactical station. Defense platforms are online and tracking targets. Lunar Command reports readiness. Ground-based anti-orbital systems are on standby. Good, Carter said. Let's show them what Earth is capable of. Begin Operation Bastion. Operation Bastion. Operation Bastion was humanity's first line of defense, a carefully orchestrated strategy designed to blunt the Consortium's assault. Earth's forces didn't have the numbers to match the alien fleet, but they had the advantage of preparation, ingenuity, and terrain. The first salvo came from Earth's orbiting defense satellites. Streams of high-energy particle beams lit up the darkness of space, converging on the consortium's vanguard ships. Several enemy vessels faltered, their shields flickering under the intense bombardment. The response was swift and brutal. The alien ships returned fire, unleashing powerful energy blasts that ripped through the defense grid. Satellites exploded in fiery bursts, but not before transmitting critical data about the enemy's tactics. On the moon, hidden artillery platforms activated. Massive railguns, buried deep beneath the lunar surface, launched tungsten projectiles at near-light speeds. These projectiles punched through the consortium's shields, tearing into the alien ships with devastating force. The moon itself trembled with the recoil of the railguns' relentless fire. The battle on the ground. As the space battle raged, smaller alien craft breached Earth's atmosphere, targeting key infrastructure and defense installations. The skies above major cities turned into war zones as Earth's air forces scrambled to intercept the invaders. In New York City, Captain Marcus Hayes, leader of the 12th Airborne Division, led his squadron of advanced fighter jets against the alien craft. Earth's jets, equipped with cutting-edge stealth systems and heat-seeking missiles, danced through the chaos, outmaneuvering their larger, clumsier opponents. "Stay sharp, team," Hayes shouted over the comms as he locked onto an alien fighter. His missile streaked toward the target, detonating on impact and reducing the enemy ship to a shower of molten debris. Despite their successes, Earth's forces were stretched thin. The alien craft were relentless, striking power plants, communication hubs, and military bases. Civilians took shelter wherever they could: subway tunnels, reinforced basements, and underground bunkers. The cyber weapon. Meanwhile, in the UEC's underground research facility, Dr. Emily Zhang and her team worked tirelessly to complete the cyber weapon. The device, codenamed Erebus, was a revolutionary creation designed to infiltrate and disrupt the consortium's AI network. "We're running out of time," Zhang said, her voice strained as she monitored the progress of the weapon's final tests. "If we don't deploy Erebus soon, their main fleet will overwhelm us." Assistant Engineer Tariq Hassan glanced up from his console. "We're almost there. The neural algorithms are stabilizing. Just give us another hour." "You have 30 minutes, Zhang replied. "We need this now." As Zhang's team raced against the clock, an alert flashed across her terminal. Consortium ships were converging on their location. Somehow, the enemy had discovered the importance of the research facility. "They know about us," Zhang muttered, her heart sinking. "We have to finish Erebus before they destroy us." The heroic sacrifice. Above the facility, Earth's ground forces mounted a desperate defense. Colonel Laura Vega, a seasoned commander, led the charge. Her troops fortified their positions with heavy artillery and anti-aircraft weapons, determined to hold the line at all costs. "They're targeting the facility," Vega shouted into her comms. "We can't let them through." Wave after wave of alien craft descended, their weapons scorching the ground and obliterating defensive positions. Vega's soldiers fought with unmatched bravery, holding the enemy at bay even as their numbers dwindled. When an alien dropship breached the outer perimeter, Vega knew what had to be done. "Fall back," she ordered. "I'll cover the retreat." Her troops hesitated, but Vega's voice brooked no argument. "That's an order. Go." Alone, she stood against the advancing alien forces, her pulse rifle blazing. She held the line long enough for the remaining soldiers to retreat into the facility, where the cyber weapon was nearly ready. As the aliens overwhelmed her position, Vega's final words crackled over the comms. "Tell them, we fought for humanity." Her sacrifice bought Zhang's team the time they needed. Deploying Erebus. Minutes later, Erebus was complete. Dr. Zhang activated the device, sending a carefully coded signal through the captured consortium ship's communications array. The signal infiltrated the enemy's AI network, spreading like a virus. In orbit, the effects were immediate. Consortium ships faltered mid-flight, their movements becoming erratic. Weapons systems powered down, and shields collapsed. The once coordinated assault dissolved into chaos. General Carter watched the unfolding events with grim satisfaction. "It's working," she said. "They're falling apart." But the victory was not yet secure. The consortium flagship remained unaffected, its advanced systems isolating it from the AI network. It continued its relentless advance toward Earth, charging a weapon of unimaginable power. The final gambit. Realizing the threat, Carter made a bold decision. "Prepare the Dawnbringer," she ordered. The Dawnbringer was Earth's most powerful weapon, an experimental ship equipped with a prototype energy cannon capable of piercing the consortium's flagship. It was a one-of-a-kind vessel, and its activation was a gamble. As the Dawnbringer launched from its hidden hangar, a wave of hope spread through Earth's defenders. On board, Captain Elena Torres piloted the ship with determination. "We only get one shot at this," she said, her hand steady on the controls. The flagship loomed ahead, its weapon fully charged. Time seemed to freeze as Torres fired the energy cannon. A blinding beam of light streaked across space, striking the flagship dead center. For a moment, there was silence. Then, the flagship erupted in a massive explosion, its debris scattering like embers across the void. A glimmer of hope. With their flagship destroyed and their fleet in disarray, the remaining consortium forces retreated. Earth's skies cleared, and a collective cheer rose from the planet's defenders. Humanity had survived the first battle, but the war was far from over. In the aftermath, General Carter addressed the world. "Today, we proved that humanity will not bow to oppression. We fought not just for survival, but for our right to exist as a free people. The consortium underestimated us, but they won't make that mistake again. Prepare yourselves. This is only the beginning." As Earth's forces regrouped and the Erebus team refined their cyber weapon, one thing became clear. The fight for Earth had united humanity like never before. Together, they would stand against the consortium, no matter the cost. Humanity's alliance. In the aftermath of the consortium's retreat, Earth's leaders wasted no time. The battle had bought humanity precious breathing room, but General Samantha Carter knew the reprieve was temporary. The consortium would return, and next time, they would come with overwhelming force. In the United Earth Command's war room, the brightest minds from across the globe convened. The air buzzed with urgency as holographic displays of alien ships and human defense systems illuminated the space. Carter stood at the head of the table, flanked by Professor Alan Greaves and Dr. Emily Jong. "We've proven we can fight back," Carter began, her voice carrying the weight of responsibility. "But we won't win this war alone. If we're going to survive, we need allies." The search for allies. The Erebus cyber weapon had not only disrupted the consortium's fleet, but also revealed a trove of classified data hidden within their systems. Among the files were coordinates to other worlds subjugated by the consortium, civilizations stripped of their sovereignty, their people enslaved. Dr. Zhang pointed to a map displayed on the central hologram. "These are the worlds that might still have resistance movements. If we can contact them, we might be able to form an alliance." Carter nodded. "We need to act quickly. The consortium will be monitoring these systems closely." The task of reaching out to these worlds fell to Captain Marcus Hayes and his crew aboard the Unity, Earth's first hybrid starship. Equipped with both human ingenuity and alien technology salvaged from the captured consortium vessels, the Unity represented humanity's leap into interstellar travel. "Captain Hayes," Carter said during the briefing, "your mission is simple but dangerous. Make contact with potential allies, share our knowledge, and bring them into the fight. Failure is not an option." Hayes, a seasoned pilot with a reputation for daring, gave a confident nod. "We'll get it done, General." First contact. The silent world. The Unity's first destination was Talran V, a once thriving world reduced to silence by the consortium. The planet's surface was a haunting landscape of crumbled cities and lifeless wastelands. Hayes and his crew descended cautiously, scanning for any signs of survivors. "Scans are picking up faint energy readings," said Lieutenant Ava Carter. the ship's engineer. "It's coming from beneath the ruins." Hayes led a small team into the remnants of what appeared to be a massive underground bunker. The air was thick with tension as they moved through the dark corridors, their flashlights casting long shadows. Suddenly, a voice crackled through their comms. "Identify yourselves or be terminated." Hayes raised his hands, signaling his team to stand down. "We're from Earth," he said. "We've come to help. We know what the consortium has done to your world, and we want to fight back." A figure emerged from the shadows, a tall, insectoid being with iridescent exoskeleton armor. Its many eyes regarded them with suspicion. "Earth, we've heard whispers of your defiance. Why should we trust you?" Hayes stepped forward, his voice steady. "Because we've already hurt them. We've shown they can bleed. But we need your help to make it count." The insectoid leader, who introduced herself as Commander HFY, hesitated before nodding. "Very well. We have hidden remnants of our fleet. If your claims hold true, we will fight alongside you." The Council of Resistance. With HFY's forces secured, the Unity continued its mission. Over the next several weeks, they visited 3 more worlds: the aquatic planet Sylvania, the volcanic fortress of Krythos, and the crystalline haven of Myrn. Each had unique strengths: Sylvania's underwater stealth technology, Krythos's hardened warriors, and Myrn's advanced energy shields. When Captain Hayes returned to Earth, he brought more than just hope. He brought an alliance. Representatives from each world gathered in Geneva for the first Council of Resistance. For the first time in centuries, enslaved worlds saw the possibility of freedom. General Carter addressed the council, her voice echoing with conviction. "The consortium has ruled through fear and division. But now we are united. Together, we will stand against them. Together, we will win." Operation Avalanche. The newly formed alliance didn't waste time. Their first joint effort, Operation Avalanche, targeted a key consortium supply depot orbiting the gas giant Cineris Prime. The depot was a critical hub, funneling resources to the heart of the consortium's empire. Earth's stealth ships, equipped with Sylvanian cloaking devices, infiltrated the depot's perimeter, while Krythian strike teams boarded the station. Myrnian shield generators protected the attackers from retaliation, while HFY's tactical brilliance ensured every move was precise. On the bridge of the Unity, Captain Hayes coordinated the operation. "Stay focused," he ordered. "We hit them hard and fast. Then get out." Explosions lit up the depot as the combined forces of the Alliance dismantled its defenses. The consortium's forces were caught off guard, their usual superiority rendered useless against the diverse strategies and technologies of the Alliance. When the dust settled, the depot was a smoking ruin, and the Alliance had seized valuable resources and intelligence. It was a resounding victory, but it came at a cost. Several Alliance ships were lost, and brave soldiers had made the ultimate sacrifice. A new threat. Back on Earth, General Carter and Dr. Zhang analyzed the data recovered from the depot. Among the files was a chilling revelation. The consortium was developing a new superweapon, one capable of destroying entire planets with a single strike. "They call it the Annihilator," Zhang said, her voice heavy with dread. "It's still in development, but if they finish it..." Carter didn't let her finish. "Then we'll stop them. We've come too far to let them win now." The intelligence also revealed the location of the weapons testing site, a heavily fortified station orbiting a dying star. The Alliance's next mission was clear. They had to destroy the Annihilator before it could be unleashed. Rallying the galaxy. The success of the Alliance inspired hope across the galaxy. Resistance movements on other worlds began to rise, emboldened by Earth's defiance. Messages of support poured in, and more worlds pledged their resources and soldiers to the cause. But the consortium wasn't sitting idle. Their spies had infiltrated several Alliance networks, sowing discord and attempting to sabotage operations. General Carter knew the Alliance had to stay vigilant. "We're fighting more than just ships and weapons," She said during a strategy meeting, "We're fighting an enemy that thrives on fear and deception. We have to be smarter, stronger, and we have to trust each other." The tipping point. As the Alliance prepared for its assault on the Annihilator's testing site, the stakes had never been higher. The galaxy teetered on the brink of revolution, and Earth was at the center of it all. Humanity's resilience, ingenuity, and determination had transformed a desperate fight for survival into a movement that could change the galaxy forever. "We started this fight alone," Carter said to her team. "But now we stand together. The consortium thinks they're invincible, but we've proven them wrong. Let's finish what we started." The countdown to the next battle had begun, and the fate of the galaxy rested on the shoulders of a united resistance. Humanity had become a beacon of hope, and the consortium was about to learn what happens when the oppressed fight back. The assault on the Annihilator. The Annihilator testing site was a stark, ominous fortress orbiting the dim orange glow of a dying star known as Klyran 12. The consortium had built the station with one purpose: to wield unimaginable destruction. For the Alliance, the destruction of this weapon was not just a tactical necessity, it was a statement to the galaxy. In the war room of the flagship Unity, General Samantha Carter, Captain Marcus Hayes, and the Alliance Council strategized the attack. Holographic maps of the station flickered before them, detailing defenses that seemed nearly impenetrable. Thick energy shields, automated turret arrays, and an armada of heavily armed ships patrolling the perimeter. "This will be our most dangerous mission yet," Carter began, her eyes scanning the room. "The Annihilator must be destroyed before it's completed. Failure is not an option." A united strategy. The plan, codenamed Operation Inferno, required precise coordination. Each member of the Alliance would play a crucial role. HFY's insectoid fleet would engage the outer defenses, drawing consortium fire. Myrnian energy shields would protect the attacking forces, while Sylvanian stealth ships infiltrated the station's weak points. Earth's contribution was the Unity, leading the assault with newly developed quantum disruptors designed to penetrate the Annihilator's shields. "We'll hit them from all sides," Captain Hayes explained. "Divide their forces, overwhelm their defenses, and ensure the Annihilator never fires a single shot." The stakes weighed heavily on everyone present, but the Alliance Council remained resolute. Commander HFY clicked her mandibles, her voice firm. "The consortium has brought fear to countless worlds. Today, we show them the power of unity." The approach. The combined fleet emerged from hyperspace in a coordinated wave, hundreds of ships of varying sizes and designs. For a brief moment, the galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Then the consortium's alarms blared, and the station erupted into chaos. HFY's ships charged headlong into the consortium's outer fleet, their serrated hulls cutting through the enemy lines like blades. Myrnian shield carriers absorbed the brunt of the enemy's counterattack, their shimmering barriers holding firm against a relentless barrage. From the shadows of Klyran 12's rings, Sylvanian stealth ships emerged, their cloaking devices flickering off as they deployed advanced hacking probes. These probes infiltrated the station's automated defenses, sowing confusion among the turret arrays. On board the Unity, Hayes barked commands. "All ships, maintain formation. Prioritize the turrets and shield generators. We need a clear shot at the Annihilator." Boarding the station. As the fleet battled outside, an elite strike team prepared to board the Annihilator station. Led by Colonel Asha Verma, Earth's top Special Forces officer, the team consisted of soldiers from every member of the Alliance. Their mission: plant charges on the station's power core and sabotage its systems from within. The strike team launched in stealth pods, small and fast enough to evade enemy scanners. The pods latched onto the station's hull, cutting through with plasma torches. Inside, the corridors were eerily quiet, illuminated by a dull red glow. "We're in," Verma whispered over the comms. Moving toward the power core. The team encountered resistance almost immediately. Consortium soldiers, tall and armored in shimmering black exosuits. The firefights were brutal and close quarters, but the Alliance's diversity proved its strength. Krithian warriors, with their volcanic endurance, led the charge, while Sylvanian operatives provided cover with their water-adapted weaponry. "Keep moving," Verma shouted as her team pushed deeper into the station. "We don't have much time." The core's countdown. In the heart of the station, the Annihilator's core pulsed with unstable energy. The weapon's countdown had already begun. A devastating strike aimed at the heart of the Alliance, intended to crush resistance before it spread further. Dr. Emily Zhang, monitoring the mission from the Unity, urgently called out to Verma, "You need to disable the core now. If it reaches critical mass, it'll detonate with enough power to destroy this entire sector." Verma's team reached the core chamber, a vast, cavernous space with glowing conduits and a humming central reactor. The air crackled with energy as the team worked frantically to plant charges on key structural points. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the chamber, and consortium reinforcements poured in. The team was pinned down, their escape route cut off. A hero's sacrifice. Realizing the dire situation, a Myrnian soldier named Lyris, whose crystalline form shimmered in the red light, stepped forward. "I will hold them back," Lyris said, their voice a calm melody. "Go. Complete the mission." Verma hesitated, but Lyris' resolve was unshakable. "Your people have shown us hope," Lyris continued. "Let me repay the debt." With no time to argue, Verma nodded. "We won't forget this, Lyris." As the team retreated, Lyris unleashed a brilliant burst of energy from their crystalline body, blinding the advancing consortium forces and collapsing the chamber's entrance. It was a sacrifice that ensured the mission's success. The Annihilator's destruction. Back on the Unity, Captain Hayes monitored the power core's readings. The charges were set, but the strike team was still inside. Verma's voice came through the comms. "We're at the extraction point. Get us out of here." The Unity's extraction team deployed, retrieving the strike team moments before the charges detonated. The Annihilator station erupted in a spectacular explosion, its wreckage consumed by the dying star's gravitational pull. A deafening cheer erupted across the Alliance fleet. The consortium's ultimate weapon was no more. The aftermath. As the fleet regrouped, General Carter addressed the Alliance Council via secure transmission. "Today, we've shown the consortium that their reign of terror is not inevitable. But this victory came at a cost. Let us honor those who gave their lives for our freedom." The destruction of the Annihilator was a turning point. Across the galaxy, resistance movements gained momentum, inspired by the Alliance's success. Even worlds that had remained silent began to rise, emboldened by the knowledge that the consortium could be beaten. A dangerous revelation. Amid the celebrations, Dr. Zhang analyzed data recovered from the Annihilator systems. Her findings were chilling. "General Carter," she said, her voice grave, "the consortium has another weapon in development. It's bigger than the Annihilator, a fleet-killing dreadnought called the Eclipse. And it's nearly complete." Carter's expression hardened. "Then we'll have to strike first. We've proven that we can win, but this war isn't over." As the Alliance prepared for its next battle, a sense of unity and purpose grew stronger than ever. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was at the heart of the revolution. The consortium had underestimated Earth, and they were about to learn just how far humanity was willing to go to protect its freedom. The fight was far from over, but the Alliance was ready. Together, they would face whatever came next. Together, they would win. The shadow of the eclipse. The destruction of the Annihilator sent shockwaves across the galaxy. For the first time in centuries, the consortium had faced not just resistance, but defeat. Despite the Alliance's growing momentum, the news of the eclipse, the consortium's fleet-killing dreadnought, cast a shadow over their victory. Time was running out, and the Alliance had to act before the eclipse became operational. In the United Earth Command's newly established orbital station, General Samantha Carter convened an emergency meeting with the Alliance Council. The tension in the room was palpable as holographic projections of the Eclipse filled the space. Its sheer size dwarfed the Annihilator, and its weaponry, according to the recovered data, could wipe out entire fleets in a single strike. "We don't have the luxury of time," Carter began, her voice steady but urgent. "The Eclipse is being constructed in the Draxon system, a heavily fortified sector deep in Consortium territory. If it becomes operational, it could end this war before we have a chance to win." Commander Xi Vash, her iridescent exoskeleton gleaming under the room's lights, clicked her mandibles thoughtfully. "The Draxon system is a death trap. Their defenses are layered, and their patrol fleets are vast. Even a combined assault would be suicidal." Captain Marcus Hayes, standing by Carter's side, crossed his arms. "Then we don't send a fleet. We send a team. Small, fast, and precise. We've pulled off impossible missions before. This one's no different." The council debated fiercely, weighing the risks. Finally, it was decided. A covert strike team would infiltrate the Draxon shipyard, sabotage the Eclipse, and escape before the Consortium could respond. It was a mission that required precision, cunning, and bravery. The infiltration team. The strike team consisted of the Alliance's best and brightest. Colonel Asha Verma, Earth's fearless Special Forces leader, who had proven her mettle in the assault on the Annihilator. Lieutenant Silak, a Sylvanian operative with unmatched expertise in stealth and hacking. Captain Thrin, a Crithian warrior known for his unyielding strength and loyalty. Lyris Beta, a Myrnian scientist and engineer, carrying the legacy of the original Lyris, who had sacrificed themselves on the Annihilator mission. The team boarded the Spectre, a Sylvanian stealth ship modified with Earth's advanced quantum disruptors. As they prepared for departure, General Carter addressed them personally. "You're not just fighting for Earth," she said, her voice filled with conviction. "You're fighting for every free world in this galaxy. The Consortium thinks they're invincible. Prove them wrong." The Draxon shipyard. The Draxon system was a starless void, its darkness broken only by the cold, artificial glow of the Consortium's massive shipyard. The Eclipse loomed at its center, a behemoth of metal and power. Dozens of smaller ships swarmed around it like worker bees tending to a queen, while orbital defense platforms formed an impenetrable barrier. Inside the Spectre, the strike team observed the shipyard's defenses through holographic displays. Silak's voice was calm but tense. "Their sensor grid is more advanced than we anticipated. Even with our cloaking tech, we'll have a narrow window to breach it." Verma nodded. "Then we make it count. Thrin, prepare the decoy drones. Silak, get ready to jam their comms." The Spectre darted through the shadows of the system, evading patrols and automated scanners. At the critical moment, Thrin deployed a swarm of decoy drones, simulating a fleet of incoming ships. The distraction worked. Consortium ships scrambled to intercept the false threat, leaving a gap in the defenses. "Now," Verma commanded. The Spectre slipped through the breach, docking covertly on the underside of the Eclipse. The team exited the ship, their magnetic boots clinging to the hull as they made their way to an access port. Silak hacked the port with practiced ease, and the team entered the dreadnought's labyrinthine corridors. Inside the beast, the interior of the Asterisk, Eclipse was a cold, sterile labyrinth of metallic corridors, dimly lit by eerie blue light strips. The hum of machinery reverberated through the walls, a constant reminder of the colossal power being built within. The strike team moved in practiced silence, their every step calculated and cautious. Colonel Verma led the way, her pulse rifle at the ready. "Stick to the plan," she whispered into the team's comms. "No heroics. We hit the core, plant the charges, and get out. A calculated risk." The team's first objective was the Eclipse's central power grid. According to the blueprints obtained from the Annihilator's data core, disabling the grid would cut power to the ship's shields and weapons, rendering it vulnerable. Silak stopped at a control panel and began hacking into the ship's systems. "I'll disable their internal sensors," he said, his fingers flying across the interface. "But it won't buy us much time. Once the main grid goes down, they'll know we're here." "That's why we move fast," Verma replied. The team pressed forward, navigating through maintenance shafts and access tunnels. At one point, they passed a massive observation deck where consortium engineers monitored the shipyard's progress. The sight of so many alien workers, each performing their tasks with mechanical precision, sent a chill down Verma's spine. This was more than a warship. It was a symbol of the consortium's relentless grip on the galaxy. Reaching the core. After what felt like hours, the team reached the core chamber. It was a cavernous room filled with towering energy conduits, each pulsating with raw power. In the center stood the primary reactor, a massive sphere encased in a web of glowing cables. "This is it," Verma said. "Thrin, Lyris, plant the charges. Selak, keep an eye on the exits." Thrin hoisted a heavy explosives pack and began setting it against the reactor's base. "These charges will destabilize the core," he explained. "Once they go off, the entire shipyard will be caught in the blast radius." Lyris worked alongside him, calibrating the charges with meticulous care. "We'll synchronize the detonation with a chain reaction in their auxiliary reactors," Lyris said. "It will look like an internal malfunction, giving the fleet time to escape." The alarm. Just as the final charge was placed, Selak's voice cut through the comms. "We've got company. A patrol's heading this way, and they're not taking the scenic route." "How many?" Verma asked. "Too many to fight head-on," Selak replied. Verma considered their options. "We hold them off here," she decided. "Selak, trigger a lockdown on the adjacent corridors." "Lyris, Thrin, finish the setup. We'll buy you the time you need." As the team took defensive positions, the sound of boots echoed through the chamber. Moments later, a squad of heavily armed consortium soldiers entered, their weapons raised. The firefight that followed was intense and chaotic, with plasma bolts and energy blasts ricocheting off the metallic walls. Thrin, wielding his Krithian warhammer, charged into the fray with a battle cry, his weapon smashing through the consortium's exosuits. Lyris, using a portable shield generator, provided cover for the team while continuing to adjust the charges. "We're almost done," Lyris shouted over the din. "The final push." As the last charge was armed, Verma called out, "Fall back. We're done here." The team retreated, fighting their way through the corridors as more consortium soldiers closed in. Selak deployed flash bombs and decoys, creating enough confusion to buy them precious seconds. Lyris, despite sustaining heavy damage to their crystalline form, pushed forward with unyielding determination. When the team reached the docking bay, the Spectre was waiting. Hayes' voice came over the comms. "Get on board, now. The charges are armed, and we're running out of time." The team boarded the ship just as the first explosions ripped through the eclipse. The reactor's detonation set off a cascading series of blasts, tearing through the dreadnought's superstructure. The shockwaves spread to the surrounding shipyard, consuming everything in a fiery inferno. The cost of victory. The Spectre escaped the blast radius just in time, its crew watching the destruction unfold from a safe distance. The once mighty Eclipse was now a smoldering wreck, its threat neutralized. Cheers erupted on the comms as the news reached the Alliance fleet. Yet the victory was bittersweet. Lyris, who had sustained critical damage during the mission, stood in the medbay, their crystalline body dimming. "It was worth it," Lyris said, their voice soft but resolute. "The consortium's weapon is gone. The galaxy has a chance." Verma placed a hand on Lyris' shoulder, her voice heavy with emotion. "We wouldn't have made it without you." A galaxy united. Back on Earth, General Carter addressed the Alliance Council. "The destruction of the Eclipse is a turning point," she said. "We've proven that even their greatest weapons can be defeated. But this war is far from over. The consortium will retaliate, and we must be ready." The victory at Draxon sent ripples across the galaxy. Resistance movements on countless worlds grew bolder, inspired by the Alliance's success. Even some of the consortium's own soldiers began to question their allegiance, deserting to join the fight for freedom. As the Alliance regrouped and prepared for the next phase of the war, one thing was clear. The galaxy was no longer under the consortium's uncontested rule. Humanity and its allies had ignited a revolution, and the stars would never be the same. The war was far from over, but the tide had turned. Together, they would press forward, united by the hope of a free galaxy and the unshakable determination to see it through.